I moved to give her a reassuring hug, but the sheet fell and I realized we were both naked. "What can I do to fix everything?" She smiled, leaned over and squeezed my hand. "Everything is fine with me. You don't have to do anything." Nicole and I spoke just long enough to discuss the details of the trip to the airport. Fortunately, we did not sit together on the plane. I had the whole flight to decide whether I would tell Carol or not. Since there was no good choice, I did not come to any decision. From the airport, I took a taxi home. Until I decide, I'll have to act like everything is fine. Carol greeted me enthusiastically. "Let's unpack your things, put them away, and then I want to get you cleaned up, cutie." As we unpacked, the choice was made for me. I heard her scream, "What the hell is this?" I turned around. She was holding blue lace bikini panties in her hands. I blushed. "Whose is this? Where?" I didn't answer right away. "Don't try to make up some story. You got it, buddy." "No story, no excuses. I can't even explain it. I myself don't understand what happened." "Who is she?" "Nicole." "Did you have sex with my best friend?" "You make me sick. Get out. Stay in the guest room. I don't even know if I can talk to you again. Get out." Everything went better than I expected. I was still married, at least for now. On Monday, I went to the doctor for a checkup. I had no reason to believe that Nicole had any illnesses, but it would be foolish not to be as safe as possible at this late date. Carol didn't talk to me for 3 days. She was still angry when she spoke. "I decided not to divorce you, but I'm angry and I know what I need to get through this. I'm going to take revenge. I'm going to find someone to have sex with, and I want you to be there when I do it." "Carol, 2 wrongs don't make a right decision. For me, this is the right decision. I'm just going to use strangers. You had sex with my best friend." "I did not want to. I didn't have any plan or intention. It just happened." "Would you rather for me to wait until some stranger starts making advances toward me before I let it happen?" I'm not trying to soften the severity of what I did. I'm saying that methodical planning takes cheating to another level, beyond what I was doing. As for observation, there is no chance of that. What if I insist? What if I need it to get through this? Otherwise, I won't be able to stay married. I started to fuss. "This is your fantasy, isn't it? You've already talked about this before. Do you think you need this to forget about my behavior? Or are you just using this as an excuse to force your fantasy down my throat? What if you go too far? How will it end when one of us gets so far that we break up? Is this your idea of how to get through this? You speak impudently for someone who has fallen so low. I speak as if I love you and don't want to go down a path where it will be impossible for us to be together. Is there really no limit? Everything is fine. We'll make up if you watch." She seemed more disappointed than angry. "At least you recognize my right to get even." I didn't even remotely say that. There is no right to do wrong. I just said that I have no right to blame you. No matter how much I've ruined our relationship, I think what you're planning will only make it worse. I will let you know. You will know when this happens, because until then, you will have nothing from me. This was wrong. I mean, there was something inappropriate about this whole situation. It took her 3 days to decide on the appropriate action. But she also told me that if she ever caught me cheating, she would take revenge. But she was quite insistent that I watch her, and she had said so before. She seemed disappointed that she did not get this concession from me, although her behavior before and after was angry. How long will I be cut off? This was a tactic she had used in the past to get her way. If her revenge is swift, it will probably be because she had someone in mind all along. Besides, she didn't really respond to any of my arguments. This was typical when she was trying to get something. But in other circumstances, she thought carefully about my words, responded thoughtfully, and sometimes agreed with me. What I had was inconclusive evidence and a bad feeling. I decided that I needed to gather more information to find out what was really going on. Maybe she was going to pretend to be a liar to teach me a lesson. But then she wouldn't insist that I watch, unless she was prepared for me to dissuade her. Maybe that was exactly what she said, revenge. Maybe she had this all planned out in advance and was just looking for an opportunity to be with him in a way where she couldn't be blamed. Maybe she had an affair with him while I was out of town, and it was staged, so that if I caught her in the future, she could say, "It was just one time with my boyfriend for revenge, and I'm sorry." Maybe it was something so twisted and insidious that I couldn't even imagine it. I decided the only way to find out was to tape them so I could hear what she said and see how she behaved. I needed to act quickly. I had no idea when she would do it. I went to my office in the basement and searched the internet for information and specifications for surveillance equipment. I also looked for local stores to stock the equipment because I didn't know if I had time to wait for it to ship. Shortly after Carol left home, I went about my business. Most of the day was spent setting up the cameras and wiring and hiding them. I hid cameras in our bedroom, guest bedroom, and office. These were the most likely places for a date. I guess I could have installed cameras in the living room and rec room, but I was trying to figure out what it was doing, not creating a spy network. Perhaps I focused on this to distract myself from the guilt and worry about the damage done to our marriage. On Friday afternoon, Carol called me at the office and told me not to worry about being home for dinner. She said that I should spend the night somewhere else and that she would call me when it was safe to return home. I didn't have to do anything. The programs were already connected to my network and the recording would be motion activated. This espionage was not an adventure. This was what I felt I had to do to understand the situation. I went to a restaurant for dinner and then got a motel room. Sitting in my room staring at the blank TV screen, I wondered what the hell I was doing. What kind of man would allow his wife to do what mine is doing now? Weakling. Someone who doesn't deserve to have their feelings spared. I grabbed the keys and ran out the door. I was going to go home and stop this. I would grab him and throw him out of the house. I got so far as to put the key in the ignition before I started thinking again. What will I tell Carol? If you cheat on me, I will leave you. The problem is that I will also have to say, if you don't forgive me for cheating, I will leave you. The juxtaposition of these two sentences was absurd, but that was not all. Suppose today I managed to prove my masculinity. What's to stop Carol from doing this the first night I'm out of town? Or every night I'm out of town for that matter. I couldn't quit my job to sit at home and watch her all the time. Either way, it wouldn't be a life for either of us. Then she will tell me what she did. The only difference is that I didn't willingly stand by to let it happen. Or maybe he won't say. She'll just keep doing it until she gets caught. I took the key out of the ignition. Confronting her tonight was not the solution. At best, it will delay her revenge. At worst, this could make the situation even more destructive to the continuation of our marriage. I got out of the car and returned to the room. No suitable solution came to mind. I tried to watch TV, but it was difficult for me to concentrate. I felt a sense of foreboding. At about 9 o'clock, I fell into a restless sleep. I woke up at 8, got dressed, and went to breakfast. Carol called me on my cell phone just after 9. She was cheerful, almost cheerful. Now you can go home. I'm going to go shopping and won't be back until this evening. You're in luck today, big guy. See you later. She didn't even wait for an answer. As far as she could tell, the matter was successfully completed. I checked out and went home. I sat down in front of the computer and checked the VCR. Only the one in the bedroom managed to detect any significant time. He didn't use it for a full 8 hours. I think they got some sleep. I rewinded the film for about an hour and turned it on. Many men tell stories about how they saw their wives doing this, and it turned them on. For me, it was an emetic. I saw Carol heading towards the bed from the bathroom. None of us will be lucky today. She sat down on the bed and picked up the phone. Was that when she called me? Hello? Who was on the other end of the line? It was fantastic. Crap. It never occurred to me to record the conversation. I could only imagine who she was talking to. No. Everything is fine. The only thing that could have been better is if Simon had been there to watch. I really didn't think I could get him to agree to this. He's so smug. I don't know. Simon is often out of town, but I don't want to feel pressured to hide the affair. Is she really talking to him? I know, thank you. All this would have been impossible without you. I don't think you can have Simon again, do you? She giggled. Nicole, nobody else caught me. Well, I feel great. Listen, why don't we go shopping? Simon is in no position to complain about me spending money. What do you say? Great. I'll call you and Simon when I'm ready to leave. Carol hung up and headed to the bathroom. She was friendly with Nicole, considering that she also betrayed Carol. Couldn't she have a date without Nicole? Panties! Nicole packed my bag. She must have put them there on purpose. Will you catch me again? I'm not a stupid person. No doubt many of you will disagree now that you understand the situation in which I find myself. In fact, it turned out that they took me for a fool. I didn't think I could get the whole story just by asking Carol. If I want to succeed, I need to plan everything carefully. I spent the whole day preparing. I saw Carol's car pull up to the house just before 5:30. I immediately picked up the phone and dialed the number. Hello? Nicole, there's something wrong with Carol. I need your help. Come right now. What's happened? What? I hung up. Melodramatic, of course. But I wanted her to help me uncover the truth, and I had to convince her to come. I heard the key turn in the back door lock. Carol's hands were full. She placed the bags on the kitchen table. You look awfully serious for someone who's about to have a good evening. Carol couldn't be happier with her situation, even if she won the lottery. Come here, sit down. We need to talk. What kind of crap is this? You're fooling me, and I should come and talk. Your actions were as wrong as mine. We did discuss what I did, didn't we? Now that you've had your revenge, we'll talk about what I need to move on. Firstly, did you use condoms? She blushed. She paused. There's no point in telling obvious lies at this point. She was Carol, as always. The best defense is a good attack. Why do you think I didn't use condoms? I didn't find anything. I could wash them off. She would have made a great politician. I didn't find the packaging. Did you wash it away too? Now that evasion was not practical, she changed tactics. You didn't use condoms with Nicole. How do you know that he is healthy? I asked. She answered not quickly enough. Looks like I'm going to be unlucky today. If Bob didn't have to use condoms with my wife, then I'm not going to. Are you healthy? They checked me. Until you are checked, you are on your own. Bastard! A very sharp argument. How long have you been planning this? What do you mean? I started after I found out about you and Nicole. You found someone surprisingly quickly. I'm very attractive. Besides the fact that it was your fantasy, why did I need to look? So that you learn your lesson. What kind of lesson is this? So that you never fool me again. She was starting to worry. And how come I didn't learn this? Didn't I know how much I hurt you? Wasn't I disgusted with myself for my lack of self-control? Aren't I hurt enough by what you're doing? And by the fact that you're planning to do this to me? How could I have learned this lesson better? She didn't answer. There was no reasonable answer. Who was he? Just someone I know from work. How did you manage to persuade Bob so quickly? How long have you been flirting? He was just attracted to me. I spoke to him on Wednesday. You said, "Hey Bob, are you doing anything on Friday? I would like you to spend the night at my house, having sex with me in my marital bed." Without preamble, he's a really nice guy to say yes to right away. His name is Frank, and it wasn't like that at all. I have to tell you, Carol, that I have collected some evidence in this situation. Be very careful not to lie. It was disgusting and vile to deceive me in this way. I think I can survive this, but if I feel like I can't trust you, there's no reason for us to restore this marriage. Since you don't know what exactly I know, you're taking a big risk if you don't tell me the truth. You mean you'll leave me after what you did? I'm saying I'll leave you if I can't trust you after what you did. If I can't trust you, how do I know you won't kill me in my sleep? I would never do this. But the question is, how far will you go? I saw Nicole's car pull up. Did you conspire with Nicole to make me cheat on you? You are crazy. Maybe. But you didn't answer my question. And don't forget that I have proof. Also, I'm going to ask Nicole about this. She doesn't want to talk to you. Just in time. The doorbell rang. Here she is. Why did you call her after you were done with Bob? Frank, I headed towards the door. Shouldn't we look for another answer? How did you agree to go shopping with her? Well, yes. I called her about this. I didn't call to talk about this. Nicole rushed past me into the living room. Carol, are you okay? Simon said. There's something wrong with you. I didn't give her a chance to answer. Nicole, when did you and Carol start planning this? Carol intervened. What are you trying to pull out? Carol, calm down. We're going to get to the bottom of this. It's not like that light was to be kept. You have the nerve to drag this into our house. If we don't solve this problem, this will just be your house. You can have sex to your heart's content here, without me. Either my sarcasm or this prospect seemed to be enough to calm her down for a moment. What's wrong with Carol is that we're having a critical conversation about marriage. Nicole, when did you start planning this? Plan what? I do not understand what you're saying. How did your panties get into my suitcase? It was just a mistake. I put them in the wrong place. Do you really think I'm that stupid? I admit that I was an incredible fool in this whole thing for a while, but I'm not that stupid. Only one pair? Well, Nicole didn't have a ready answer. How is it? I pretended to look at my notes. None of this would have been possible without you. They both looked surprised. Didn't it occur to you that I could tap phones? When did you start planning this? I didn't care who answered. The silence seemed to last forever, although in reality it was probably less than a minute. I was waiting. Justified or not, I had a feeling that if I spoke first, I would lose the advantage and the truth forever. About 5 months ago, Nicole answered, her voice barely above a whisper. Nicole, Carol said. Did you hear? He knows. We'll only make things worse if we lie. Nicole is doing the right thing. I can't guarantee that I'll stay with you no matter what I find out, but I guarantee that I will leave if I don't find out the truth. What was the plan? I have to get you to seduce me and then leave some evidence for Carol. Nicole, does Carol still think she can hide it all, or is she just shocked to hear it out loud? Carol, isn't it clear now that I get it? She, just like Annie, knew where to find me. She left evidence, as I now understand, in an obvious way. Let it all come out. Did she help you with this information, Nicole? Yes. So, Carol, you and Nicole had been planning for 5 months to have Frank, and not long before that you came up with a plan. Now she was calm and behaved humbly. Yes. Why such a complicated plan? Why not just change it while I was out of town and hide it from me? I thought you'd leave me if you found out. Is this better? I didn't think you'd find out. Why did you do that? I didn't think you'd find out. And this is the reason? Frank has been flirting with me for a long time. It made me feel attractive. You left, and he was always there. He paid me a lot of attention. He kept trying to win me over, even though I turned him down over and over again. It made me feel special. Being hunted was so exciting. It made me remember how much fun I had playing on the field before we met. I guess I finally let him get to me. I wanted to see if I was missing anything. I wanted to feel the thrill of being desired. You didn't do anything like that. I was simply overwhelmed with excitement. It was stupid. You could just be secretly cheating, Carol. It would suck, but at least you wouldn't hurt me. I didn't think you'd find out. So you betrayed me by deceiving me with Frank? And you betrayed me by making me think that everything was my fault? It sounds terrible when you say it like that. So you betrayed me twice? Yes. Sorry, honey. But that's not all, is it? These 2 betrayals are quite bitter to swallow, but they are something I could overcome. But that's not all, is it, Nicole? She shrugged and shook her head. Did I seduce you, Nicole? Well, of course. Don't you remember? She said this with sincere conviction. No, that's why I'm asking. I only drank 1 drink, but in the end I felt very bad. I remember bits of the evening, but not much. Did you do something to me? It could have been Percocet. And what else? What are you talking about? Asked Nicole. What did Carol mean when she said, I don't think you can have Simon again, do you? What does it mean to get Simon again? Carol gasped. Nicole lowered her eyes. Her shoulders slumped. She didn't answer right away. When she did this, her voice was barely audible. "GHB, I only gave you half the dose so it wouldn't hurt you." "For what?" "Carol knew from this woman's report that you couldn't be seduced. Carol hired an agency that checks whether spouses are faithful. That redhead would have slept with you and Carol would have gotten her vindication. But you didn't. So Carol knew she would have to decide differently." Whose idea was GHB? They looked at each other. Carol was silent, but blushed. "Carol managed to get something, Simon. I want you to know how sorry I am. I started to regret it the next morning when you didn't touch me. You were more upset about what you thought was your mistake than what Carol would do to you. I felt like crap and didn't want you to know what I did, so I just played along. Please forgive me. I'm really sorry." Her tone confirmed the feelings she was expressing. "Carol, looking back, I don't see anything good in it. I don't know what I was thinking. This is not even remotely an apology. I'm really sorry. I didn't want you to find out." "So this is what you regret?" "No, that's not what I meant. If you don't find out, it won't hurt you. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just let myself get carried away. I'm so sorry, Simon. I promise this will never happen again. I will never give you a reason to doubt me. Do you understand what you did? You helped rape me and made me believe it was all my fault. I don't even know what the worst thing about all of this is. I can probably forget that you decided and planned to use Frank. Everyone makes mistakes, even big ones. But that wasn't enough for you. Do you even understand what you've done? You made me become an adulterer. For me, this may be even worse than the fact of rape. This time you pushed your ideas over the edge. Don't leave me, Simon. I will do everything to make amends. I love you more than anything in the world. More than anything in the world except you and what you want. I'm going to leave, Carol. My lawyer will contact you." "Don't leave me, Simon," Carol said. "I don't know what I'll do without you. I'll do anything." "This is the most truthful thing you said today." I went out. She followed me into the bedroom and continued to beg while I packed my things. Anger and resentment prevented me from hearing what she was saying. Maybe she was sincere. Maybe she was just sad about her loss. But it didn't matter. I couldn't stay. She's gone too far. "Carol, after the way you treated me, I decided to take revenge. Whatever you want, everything you need, just don't leave me." I gave her hope that after I did everything I set out to do, she could bring me back. It was cruel to let her think that way. At that moment, this thought made me happy. I was a bastard. The pleasure I took then in insulting her now repulses me. But at least I had time to heal. I left her crying. Maybe she really loved me. But it didn't matter. The price was too high. I wanted revenge. I wanted her to suffer the same way I suffered. I wanted the family to know what a ruthless, lying narcissist she is. I wanted the people she worked with to know the kind of betrayal she was willing to bring to work. I wanted my friends to know what she was capable of doing to her longtime lover and companion, and how willing she was to compromise her best friend to get it. Could they be next? I wanted all these people to avoid her. Just the thought of her suffering was cathartic. But after the rush of emotions caused by these thoughts, I wondered what might happen. As for accusing her of rape, without a confession it would be almost impossible. Even then, Nicole could end up in jail, and I didn't want that. If the trial begins, I will become the object of public ridicule. The worst part is that even if I could bring all this suffering to Carol, what would it mean to me? A person who enjoys his own life so little that he only gets pleasure from seeing others suffer? If I took action to make her suffer, I might lose more respect for myself as a man than I would gain from her suffering. I had unfinished business. I watched the tape in the living room. "Come in, Frank." "Oh, baby, I'm so glad you finally decided to do this." "Well, of course you were persistent. You're flattering the girl. I didn't need to see anything anymore. At least she told the truth here. That slimy bastard stalked my wife until he succeeded. This did not mitigate her disgusting behavior, but it deserved some retribution. I called Carol's office and asked to see Frank. Luckily, there was only one Frank. Frank, This is Simon Newsom. I just came from the health department and was told that I was required by law to warn any sexual partners of Carol or I that I had contracted chlamydia from her. You better get checked, man. He spluttered, swore, and called her a damn bitch. Of course, he'll know he's okay, but I'm not done with him yet. A week later, I was waiting in the parking lot when he went to get his car. I walked right up to him and lunged at him as he approached the car, slamming him onto the hood. "Hello, Frank, it's Simon Newsom again." I pressed down on it, holding my breath. "You bastard." Carol had nothing. Am I the bastard? You stalked my wife, convinced her to have sex with you, ruined our marriage, and I'm a bastard? I continued to press him, either because he found it difficult to breathe, let alone speak, or because he had nothing to say. He remained silent. "You're lucky this time, Frank. You didn't catch anything and you're alive. Your next husband may decide to beat you to a pulp or kill you. I probably won't kill you, although I haven't decided that for sure. See you, Frank, or not." I think I've succeeded in sounding threatening. I hoped he would be worried for a while longer, but it didn't matter. I told the truth. The next guy could just kill him without a second thought. I felt better. Such revenge did not diminish me. I forgave Nicole. She showed real remorse. We even became friends. Carol kept calling, but 2 months passed before I answered her call. "Carol, I'm actually not very interested in talking to you. I just wanted to tell you that I have decided to forgive you. I can't say whether you deserve it or not, but you can take me off your conscience." Does this mean that we have a chance to be together again? I forgive you, Carol, but I don't think I can forget. I can't imagine that I'll ever be able to trust you. I will never give you a reason to doubt me again. What happened is enough. Please. I cannot do it. Goodbye. I hung up without waiting for an answer. I spoke without any malice. I just didn't want to risk my peace of mind. I spent a significant part of my life with her, and most of it was very good. I sincerely hoped that she would be happy, but I was not interested in that. If I never hear anything about her life again, I'll be fine. I spoke to Carol again. She called from a new number. "Hello, Simon." "Carol, we have nothing to talk about. Just give me a minute and listen. That's all I want. I thought a lot about my behavior, especially after you said you forgave me. I could never find the words to adequately describe how badly I behaved. Not only was I willing to risk our relationship over something useless, I was willing to rub your nose in it. I have no idea how I could have done this, and I'm really sorry. I'm not asking you to take me back. They wouldn't take me back after I got in. What I did would be a shame if I did it to a stranger. That I could do this to someone I love, and even worse, to someone who loved me, fills me with disgust. I know this doesn't excuse my behavior, but I needed to give you a sincere apology. I know how empty and useless my apologies were at that time. I understand now. I hope this is of some value to you." After about 10 to 15 seconds, I came to the conclusion that she was finished. Not only did she say the right things, but she seemed sincere. I didn't realize it until now, but I guess I needed to hear them. "Thank you, Carol." We both had nothing to say and ended the conversation. Sometime later, Nicole told me, without meaning to, that Carol was unhappy. She rarely goes out. They don't even date anymore. It's a shame, of course, but that's not my problem. I had what I originally wanted, Carol's unhappiness. It didn't bring satisfaction. I loved her, but I probably could have guessed everything from the very beginning. The totality of all her virtues and qualities distracted me from a character flaw that was serious enough to allow her to abandon marriage for the sake of fantasy. I no longer date stubborn women like her. I'm looking for a woman with a kind heart. I also changed my profession. Now I stay at home almost all the time. I hope someday there will be someone to stay home with. Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one.